We'll call the K-12 Subcommittee to order. Madam Clerk, please take the roll.
Representative Bolso. Here. Representative McKenzie. Here. Ritchie. Here. Slater. Here. Stevens. Here. Warner. Here. Chairman Hurt. Here. Chairman White. Chairman Haston.
Here.
Chairman, you have a quorum.
Thank you. Any personal orders before we get going? Representative Ritchie, you're recognized.
Thank you, Chairman. Just wanted to let everybody know about an hour and 30 minutes ago, they caught the individual that ended up shooting our two deputies. So extremely happy with law enforcement, all the other departments and agencies that came in there and assisted them. So just want to make that announcement.
Thank you for that announcement. Yeah, that is a blessing. Members, we will go through the calendar real quick, and I'll give you an update on some items here. Item number 3. House Bill 1042 has been taken off notice. Item number 5, House Bill 865 has been rolled 1 week. Item number 7, House Bill 2115 has been rolled 2 weeks. Item number 9, House Bill 2264 has been rolled 1 week. Item number 11, House Bill 2764 is off notice. Item number, do I need to do this one now? Okay. Item number 12, House Bill 2398 will be added to the school safety calendar on March 12th. And I believe that gets us up to date here. It brings us back to item number 1, HJR 811. Representative Sparks, properly motion. You are recognized on HJR 811.
Thank you, Chairman. Chairman, this piece of legislation, this resolution, comes to me on behalf of Caleb Tibble, one of our school board members, and Rob Mitchell, our property assessor. It's about the game of chess and trying to recognize the benefits of the game of chess. Chairman and members, we're seeing a lot of violent crime. We just had two young students killed just a couple of miles down the road here. Those two teens that'll be charged is probably going to cost the taxpayers minimum probably $500,000 to incarcerate them, prosecute them, potentially $1 million. We see the value of the game of chess for critical thinking skills and de-escalation on student behavior and young people making bad decisions that have severe consequences in their life. Just this week, I'd seen where I was told Memphis Grizzlies Derek Ross had purchased chess sets for folks in the community. Marcus Mayolis, if y'all have ever heard of him, he's call him the prophet. He awarded our property assessor in Rutherford County a $5,000 grant, and he's seen the benefits. He's the CFO of Camping World. Both these gentlemen can testify before committee next week to just show the benefits, and what we're potentially hoping this movement can bring about is some implementation in corrections with our juveniles as well as our alternative schools in across the state. Hopefully, we want to start off with a pilot project in Rutherford County and maybe Shelby County. I've met with our principal, school superintendent, and they've all echoed the benefits of the game of chess. And chairman and committee members, I can't think of a better issue to try to talk about, to try to tackle critical thinking skills with our young people today.
Thank you for that explanation. Members, any questions for our sponsor? Chairman Hurt, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Sponsor, I just wanted to thank you for bringing this. It's kind of interesting, and I know we had a conversation about this and some of the things you told me, which a few of them today. It's a different approach, and to think outside the box in order for ways to help anyone, especially in these situations. I appreciate you bringing it and taking different approaches to look at what we can do to improve critical thinking skills for youngsters or anybody that might need it. So again, just wanted to say thanks, and appreciate the different type of thought process anyway to try to get get some traction with these individuals. So thanks.
Thank you, Chairman.
Representative Stevens, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and I also wanted to thank Representative Sparks for bringing this. Our property assessor and some of our school board members have been very engaged with this, and they are convinced that if we have chess played in schools, that the students will have to learn how to plan ahead, be strategic with their thinking. It will teach them critical thinking skills and patience and so forth as they're making decisions, not only for their school, but in life. And so I think it's a very unique perspective. I think it's definitely something that has potential, and I think that you are doing a great service for bringing this. So I appreciate that and hope that everyone supports it.
All right, thank you, sir.
Okay, Chairman Haston had to step out to carry a bill, so I've got the gavel. So, Chairman Warner.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just wondering, Representative Sparks, how is your chess game?
I'm not much of a, I mean, I can play, but I'm not that great. Okay.
So you may be more of a checkers guy?
No, I guess. It's really an interesting game, though. I mean, if you study the history, Representative Warner, I'd have never thought 10 years ago to be talking about this subject in front of a committee. But if you go back and study the history of the game of chess, I mean, it's really fascinating. There's a language about this. The guy that we're hoping can get before the committee, I mean, he's in Pakistan right now. I think they're working on a documentary about the game of chess. This stuff is really fascinating. So I encourage you. I think he's sending the video to y'all, by the way, Rob Mitchell, if y'all can look at it. But it really is fascinating.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Members, anybody else have a question of Representative Sparks? Question's been called. Any objection to the question? Okay, all those in favor of moving House Joint Resolution 811 out to full committee indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it.
Thank you, Chairman. Thank you, many members.
Thank you. Members, that brings us to the second item on the calendar, HB 741.
Most of you guys were.
Yeah, hang on a second. We don't have a second yet. Seeing none, we don't have a second, sir.
Well, I'm sure I can find a bill to amend it on the floor with.
Okay,
Thanks
thank
so
you.
much.
Thank you, Representative. Okay, that brings us to item number 3, HB 1042, which is item by Representative Bricken. Is that being wrote? That is off notice. HB 1042 off notice. Item number 4, House Bill 1812 by Representative Alexander. Not in the room yet. She may be running a bill. Let's roll this 2 spaces. We'll come back to it. Item number 5, House Bill 1865 is off notice. Roll 1 week, House Bill 1865. Brings us to item number 6, House Bill 1997 by Chairman Hicks. You're recognized, sir. You're recognized.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, committee. House Bill 1997 really is just fixing an accounting issue. It does this by requiring the amount of the trust principal of the K-12 mental health endowment account to be reduced by $75 million, and then increases the trust special reserve account by $75 million. Also, it requires the Department of Mental Health and Substance Abuse Services to submit an annual spending plan to the trustees of the K-12 Mental Health Endowment Fund for the trustees' consideration in determining the amount of funds in the K-12 Mental Health Special Reserve account that are available for appropriation and expenditure. Stand ready to answer any questions.
Okay, members, with that explanation, there are no amendments. He's given the explanation. Questions on this bill to Representative Hicks? Well, I see none. You have anything else you want to say?
I'd appreciate passage.
Okay. Members, we're on House Bill 1997. Any objection to the question? All those in favor of House Bill 1997 going out to full committee indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, committee and chair.
House Bill 2115 by Representative Powers is rolled for 2 weeks. Brings us to item number 8, House Bill 2142. Got a motion second by Representative Martin. There you go. Let's see, do you have any amendments to your bill?
No, sir.
No amendments. You may explain your bill to us.
Okay, thank you, committee and chair. House Bill 2142 came to me through our school board attorney in Hamilton County, who noticed that certain violent student juvenile records did not follow students as they were being enrolled in Hamilton County. If he had not been the county attorney for another county where they knew of a person who had done some violence, they would have never known that in Hamilton County because it was not revealed. He just happened to be the school board attorney for both counties and therefore knew about this. And so he brought this to my attention. Currently, if a student is adjudicated delinquent of crimes such as rape, kidnapping, carrying weapons, and others on a school property, the previous school system and the legal guardian are required to disclose these records to the new school's principal. In the scenario where a student comes from a different state or other circumstances, the student's parents may be only person to disclose this information. Yet currently, the penalty for failing to disclose their child's delinquency is only a $50 fine. Well, this bill seeks to address this problem in two ways. First of all, the bill requires schools to ask legal guardians of every newly enrolled student if their child has been adjudicated delinquent under one of the crimes listed in the current statute. This gives direct permission for schools to inquire, and this reminds parents of their obligation to disclose their students' adjudication. The second thing this bill does is it increases the penalty for legal guardians who knowingly fail to disclose their students' delinquency from a fine of $50 to a $500 fine. And the intent behind this legislation is to ensure school principals are knowledgeable of their students' information. In this way, the school principal can work with the parents to create a plan which best serves the student while also protecting their classmates and teachers. I'm happy to answer any questions and would appreciate a positive recommendation.
Thank you, Representative. With that great explanation, questions? Yes, sir, Representative.
Thank you, Chairman. Thank you, sponsor. And we spoke on this bill, and I support the intent and what's going on. The one question that I do have is, do we have any data on how many students we have across the state of Tennessee that fall within inside of the parameters of needing to report this information to their to the schools?
When you say we, if you're talking about me and you, the answer is no. But when you say we, you mean in a government agency, I don't know. But I would imagine that that data is somewhere. I'm just not familiar with those numbers. And that's part of what this legislation is to help with that.
Any follow-up? Thank you. Thank you, Representative Ritchie. Yeah, I appreciate you, Bill. I went through something like this with the DUI bill years ago where one county is not talking, one judge is not talking to the others, and missing a lot of things. Okay, members, we're on House Bill 2. I know, we're on House Bill. There you go. We're on House Bill 2142. Any objection to the question, Representative McKenzie?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just a quick question. As you laid it out, described it, I agree with the words. I just want to make sure that that's complete. You said the problem is when we're coming from out of state, in state, correct? In terms of the information about the adjudication is not traveling with the student, and that's the concern. So my question is, if we have a parent, you say it's the school system going from Chattanooga to Knoxville, and it doesn't get there, will the parent, that parent who's not necessarily their responsibility, it's the school's responsibility, according to what I think your bill's saying, will that parent be subject to the $500 fine?
If they knowingly,
You recognize?
if they knowingly do not disclose to the new school that their child is enrolled in, then yes, they'll be accountable if they are, for example, the custodial parent. Let's say that you had a situation where mama's in Chattanooga and daddy's in Knoxville, and daddy don't even know, that the kid has been through the juvenile system, and he ends up with the child through custody, and he didn't know what happened in Chattanooga. I don't know that that parent would be held accountable because they didn't know. This is if you know and fail to disclose.
Yes, sir. Follow up.
Yes. So But isn't it correct? And I'm looking at your bill summary. I'm not seeing the exact words, but the principal of the sending school also has some responsibility in this, correct?
Well,
And
that's
on-
not
go ahead.
what this bill deals with. This bill deals with the parents.
I know, but that in existing law, there's already responsibility on the sending school to send that information.
I would have to ask legal that, but because I'm not dealing with that part, I'm dealing with parents. But here's what happens, Representative McKenzie. In this particular situation, you had a kid or a student who committed a delinquency. They're out of school, they homeschool, and then they go to another school in Hamilton County. So how would that school know where to send that? If you're in Shelby County and you get adjudicated, and instead of going to Hamilton County, you go to homeschool or something like that, then how would Hamilton County ever know that under that scenario? So this tightens that up where the parents have the responsibility.
Thank you.
Because that already is the law. We're just making it
Thank
more of a penalty, and we're making it something that requires the principals to ask this on newly enrolled students.
Thank you. Representative Kinsey, you're okay with that legal? Okay, thank you. Members, we're still on House Bill 2142 by Representative Martin. Any further questions? Seeing none, all those in favor of moving the House Bill 2142 out to full committee indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it.
Thank you.
You now moves out to full committee. Members, we had rolled Representative Alexander's bill for 2 spaces. She's now in the room. So we'll go back to item number 4, I believe it was. House Bill 1812, Representative Alexander. It's your, you can come on up and I will turn the gavel back over to our chairman.
Thank you, Chairman. Thank you, committee. What this bill is to do is this bill will allow protection for teachers that have been attacked by a student or in line of teaching, that would allow them to have benefits and paid leave while they are healing. And that really concludes my bill.
Thank you for that explanation. Members, any questions for our sponsor? Representative McKenzie, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you for bringing this bill. This I would have assumed it would have already been in law, but thank you for catching that and making sure that gets codified clearly and completely. This is a good bill. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for that. Any other questions? Question has been called. We're voting on House Bill 1812. All those in favor, please say aye. All those opposed say no. The ayes have it. You move on to full education.
Thank you, Chairman. Thank you, committee.
All right. Number 10 takes us to item number 10, House Bill 2311, Representative Baum. Properly motioned. Representative Baum, you are recognized on House Bill 2311.
Thank you, Chairman Haston. Every member of this committee probably knows that the opioid abuse crisis is rampant. That's been partly exacerbated by fentanyl coming into our country through our southern border. And this has had an adverse impact on a lot of people, including our teenagers. There is a product called naloxone that is an opioid antagonist. If you're having an overdose due to opioids or fentanyl and you're administered naloxone, it will reverse the overdose and save lives or potentially save lives. In July of last year, 2023, the FDA officially moved naloxone to an over-the-counter product that's available without a prescription. And so this bill is partly in response to that. It adds to our code that students and employees and school visitors would not be prohibited from having naloxone or an opioid antagonist on them if they're on school property or at a school-related event.
Thank you for that. Members, any questions? Representative McKenzie, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Appreciate definitely the intent of the bill, and I'm close to getting my arms around it. I guess my concern would be, I would think that if they had Tylenol or an Advil or something like that, that would not, a student having that on their person, that would be a problem in our system today, but this one wouldn't be. I understand it's over the counter, but so those other things. So I'm not beating your bill up for that. I just think that that's kind of a reach. I will say the fentanyl's coming in a lot of other places beside the southern border, unfortunately, and it's an epidemic. But could you kind of address that, the fact that, we're going to allow this type of, understanding overdoses and everything, the intent is there, but we're going to allow this drug, that's what it is, a drug, to be carried by students, visitors alike, and we're not regulating, or we're not allowing other over-the-counter types of medicine.
Representative Baum?
Well, Representative McKenzie, I think you're right. This bill only deals with naloxone. It doesn't deal with other products. My understanding is that prescription drugs have been restricted in the ways that they can be carried on campuses, school property, and naloxone has been a prescription drug. Now, as I've just said, that has changed, and that has opened the door for it to be carried on students or employees or other visitors to school without it being governed by the same type regulations Tennessee has for prescription drugs, since it's not a prescription drug anymore. And I have not researched Tennessee code on other products, over-the-counter products, and so I can't speak to exactly where they're addressed in code and under what conditions they would be permissible or not.
Chairman Watt, you're recognized.
Thank you, Chairman. And I think I've answered my own question. I was just wondering if naloxone hurts a person if it's injected into them when they don't have opioids in their system. And it's saying here, it will not harm someone who does not have opioids in their system, actually no effects. So just making sure there's no adverse effects. If it were, how do you take, is this an injection like an EpiPen, or is this a pill, or what?
Representative Baum?
Chairman White, there's several ways it can be administered. It can be administered as a shot or as an IV or through your nose. Now, this
Okay.
bill would address the version of the product that's administered through your nose. Students and teachers wouldn't have IVs on them to administer naloxone that way. You could administer that way in a hospital. My understanding, from what I've been told, is that this product is not harmful in any way to an individual who's having an overdose or to someone who's not having an overdose, other than it's probably a little bit uncomfortable to have this vapor injected into your nose. It's wet. It might be uncomfortable from that standpoint, but there's no adverse effects on the person having an overdose or someone who's not having an overdose. You wouldn't want it if you didn't need it, but they wouldn't present any health problems, is what I've been told.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Any other questions? Seeing none, we're ready to vote on House Bill 2311. All those in favor, please say aye. All those opposed say no. The ayes have it. We move on to full education.
Thank you all.
I'm going to hand the gavel back over to Chairman Watt so that I can run this bill.
Members, we're now on item number 13, House Bill 1936 by Chairman Haston. You are recognized. You have a motion and a second. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This bill simply removes a 3-year sunset on the pilot that we've had in place for our nationally recognized career readiness assessment that we've been providing for our seniors. Throughout the pilot program, the ACT Work Keys was the most common exam that was administered. Basically, through the ACT Work Keys, you can get a NCRC, a Nationally Career Readiness Certificate that can connect students to over 900 corporations and businesses in the state of Tennessee. This is just asking for some recurring funding that would keep that offering for our state seniors going forward. And with that, I'll be glad to answer any questions.
Members, Any questions for Representative Chairman Haston on this particular bill? I think we've got some school children coming next week that may want to speak on this bill whenever the bill goes through committee. I think Chairman Littleton asked for that request.
Yeah, we do have some witnesses that have come forward to support it, which if it gets there, we hope to have them next time.
Okay, the question's been called. Any objection to the question? Seeing none, all those in favor of moving House Bill 1936 out to full committee indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. It does move out. We'll give the gavel back to Chairman Haston in case he's got any final comments.
All right, just keep in mind that the school safety calendar will be March 12th. You'll need to be put on notice by March 6th for any of those that are dealing with school safety, facility school safety. Any personal orders with, yes, sir, Representative Warner.
Yeah, just for clarification, if we had a bill that was on prior notice that got bumped to that special calendar, do we need to resubmit that bill?
I don't believe you have to resubmit it. It does, if it has been on notice before, it does unfortunately count as one calendar, but it does not have, you don't have to do any further action. It'll be on that calendar.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Yep. Without objection, we stand adjourned.